wherever you are listening or watching Radio Afinju. The time is 9 a.m.
Ẹ bá mi pè o. Àfínjú. Kí lorúkọ rẹ̀? Àfínjú. Rédíò. Àfínjú. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ Àfínjú. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ Àfínjú. Lórí WhatsApp. Àfínjú. Instagram. Àfínjú. Facebook. Àfínjú. Lórí X. Àfínjú. Lórí YouTube. Àfínjú. Lórí TikTok. Àfínjú. Kí lorúkọ rẹ̀? Àfínjú. Ẹ bá mi pè o. Àfínjú. Rédíò. Àfínjú. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ 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 Àfínjú. Rédíò Àfínjú. Rédíò Àfínjú. Rédíò Àfínjú.
Stay informed with news on Radio Afinju.
Good morning to you this beautiful Wednesday morning. Good morning. How are you doing? And today being Wednesday, the 22nd of October, 2025, I welcome you to the Dailies on Radio Afinju. We are broadcasting live in Oshogbo, Osun State. And if you're yet to follow us on our social media platforms, kindly go to Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X, all at Radio Afinju. And this is the Dailies on Radio Afinju, where we bring you the news making the front pages of our national dailies to your hearing, talking from Punch newspaper, Vanguard, Daily Post, The Nation, Tribune newspaper. We're bringing them to you this morning, and I'll be bringing you the news taking the front pages of this national dailies. Now I'm starting off with the Punch newspaper this morning. The banner headline on the Punch newspaper this morning reads, "A convention, Lamido, Turaki, Makrafi lead PDP chairman race." And the rider under it says, "Northwest PDP set to pick consensus chair as party zoning favor region and party set for convention." And the news can be found on the page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Presidency and can clash over Christian genocide claim. And the news is on the page 25 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Niger governors mourn as 35 killed in tanker explosion. And that is on the page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Presidential pardon. AGF orders multi-agency probe. And that is on the page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Still on the Punch. Sanwo-Olu, Fashola, Ambode and Lagos APC endorsed Tinubu's re-election. And that is on the page 9 of the Punch newspaper this morning. MDAs under fire as federal government probe TSA violations. And that's on the page 19 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Hit and run driver kills Lagos director days before retirement. And that's on the page 5 of the Punch newspaper. Lastly, on the Punch, Amukuto resumes next week ahead of Anambra polls. And that's on the page 9 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Now, moving on to the Nation newspaper, the banner headline here reads, "Kuka, while Nigeria should not be linked to religious genocide. And that's on the page 3 of the Nation newspaper this morning. To the top part of the Nation newspaper, 35 die in another petrol tanker explosion. And the news is on the page 5 of the Nation. Protest, police charge Kanu's lawyer and brother and also 10 others. That is on the page 3 of the Nation newspaper this morning. ADC Secretariat set ablaze in Ado-Ekiti. Tinubu nominates Doro as minister to replace Yowatda. And that's on the page 5 and page 27 respectively of the Nation newspaper this morning. Lastly, Abia, Edo, Ebonyi, Ondo, and lag in voter registration. And that's on the page 27 of the Nation newspaper this morning. Now moving on to the Guardian newspaper, the banner headline here also reads, Chaos as police disperse Abuja protesters and Southeast shuts down for Kanu. And that's on the page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And SARS, police reforms linger as Nigerians demand justice 5 years after. And that's also on the page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. NARD strike looms as 30-day ultimatum to federal government enters final week. And that's on the page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Resolve disputes with ASU or face nationwide strike. NLC warns federal government. And that's on the page 5 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Lastly, I'll be picking on the Guardian. Nigeria needs new constitution, not amendment. Olanipekun tells NAS, and that's on the page 5 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And lastly, to the last newspaper I'll be picking from Vanguard. The banner headline here also reads, Court remands Kanu's lawyer, brother, and 10 others in prison. And the writer says defendants chanted war songs. Police allege, I'm safe, but in Kuje prison. Ejimako says, Wabara demands release of Kanu's brother and others. We are mimicking democracy, Farotimi says. Fault police and judiciary. Action Aid Amnesty condemns assault on protesters. And the news is on the page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Why governors and others are defecting to APC, and this is coming from Governor Sule, and that is on the page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. ISWAP plans fresh attacks in Ondo and Kogi State, coming from the DSS. The writer under it says Ondo Police Commissioner holds security meeting, and that's on the page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper. We'll go after our enemies. Go after enemies of our sovereignty, coming from CDS, and that is on the page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Court nullifies Ebonyi 2024 local government election, sacks chairman and councillors, and that's on the page 17 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Lastly, tanker explosion, over 30 killed in Niger, scooping fall from falling tanker, and that is on the page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And that will all be all the news I'll be bringing to you from this national daily. So we'll go on a short break, and then when we come back, I'll give you the story in full. Don't go anywhere. This is still the dailies on Radio Afinju.
Tori we no get filter.
Politics matter.
Sports.
Ya lo hace. Pierna derecha directo al arco. Golazo. Golazo.
Culture. Naija and Obodo Oyibo music. Advertisement we go reach your customer home and abroad.
This is incredible.
Now on top Radio Afiju you go hear am.
You can't be serious.
Na so Radio Afiju be baba for all radio stations wey dey Osogbo, Osun State. Radio Afiju na better level for broadcasting.
Alrighty then.
For the best music,
Show me capital business. Show me character dickiness.
Season Sport Presentation.
Round 10 begins. If they complete this round.
Balanced and objective news reportage and all-round entertainment. Listen to the jewel of the pack of radios in this class.
Tune in
To Radio Afinju right here in Oshobo, Osun State.
Na my hustle be this. Na here I dey see my daily urgent 2k o. Ìhà yín ni mo ti ń rí ẹgbẹ̀rún méjì náírà pàjáwìrì tèmi lójoojúmọ́. On this program, we will bring people from different business backgrounds to come tell their stories and share insights with us. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin oníṣẹ́ ọwọ́, oníṣòwò, ẹ gbáradì. Ètò ti kàn yín ní rédíò Àfínjú. Bó o lẹ ti bẹ̀rẹ̀? Kí ni àwọn tójú yín rí? Kí lẹ̀ ń tà gangan? Bó o lẹ sì ti ń tà? My hustle will give you a direct insight into the business world. Join Aderonke Lawal, Ayoka Ọmọ Àkànmú on my hustle every Wednesday 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Radio Àfínjú to have your minds blown. Ẹ lè tẹ̀lé wa lórí gbogbo ìkànnì abánidọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ wa pátápátá ní Radio Àfínjú. My hustle, my urgent 2k.
ìpèníjà pọ̀ láwùjọ aráàlú ń pàráàrò wọ́n ń fojú sọ́nà fún ìdàgbàsókè bẹ́ẹ̀ olóṣèlú náà ń pé adìyẹ ń làágùn ìyẹ́ ni ò jẹ́ àárì ó wá di dandan ká mójú ajé kò ní sọ ká ṣàkójọ àwọn ìpèníjà tí ń bẹ láwùjọ ká tẹ́ pẹpẹ rẹ̀ fáwọn adarí ìjọba kí wọ́n sì sọ ìgbésẹ̀ tí wọ́n ń gbé láti wá ojútùú sí wọn èyí ló bí ètò gbàgede ọ̀rọ̀ lórí rédíò Àfínjú gbàgede ọ̀rọ̀ ni ó máa ṣe ìfọ̀rọ̀wérọ̀ láàrin ará ìlú àtàwọn adarí ìjọba lórí ètò yìí a ó máa ṣàtúpalẹ̀ àwọn ìpèníjà àwùjọ bẹ́ẹ̀ la sì máa fọ̀rọ̀wérọ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn ìkàn ìjọba tọ́rọ̀ kàn láti lè mú ìtẹ̀síwájú báwùjọ wa Adédayọ̀ Dẹ́rínú ọmọ wọn lẹ́sẹ̀ kòjọ́mọ ònù ni ó máa tọ́kùn ètò ẹ lè wo rédíò Àfínjú lórí àwọn àtẹ ayélujára Facebook àti YouTube bẹ́ẹ̀ lẹ́sì lè gbọ́ wa lórí rédíò Garden rédíò Àfínjú ìlànà ìgbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́ tí ò lábàwọ́n gbàgede ọ̀rọ̀ ètò tó ń yànnàná ohun tó rújú láàrin ará ìlú àtijọba kò ṣeé má gbọ́ ni ẹ gbà bẹ́ẹ̀.
Gbàgede ọ̀rọ̀.
Life no get duplicate.
Na so ẹ̀mí ò láàárọ̀ o.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
Tẹ́ jẹ́jẹ́ o.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o. Make you take am easy.
Na so o.
Radio Àfínjú says if you drink, don't drive. If you drive, don't drink.
Tẹ́ jẹ́jẹ́ o.
Make you take am easy.
Na so o.
This awareness is brought to you by Radio Àfínjú.
You're welcome back. This is still the Dailies on Radio Àfínjú, and I'm starting off with the Punch newspaper this morning, picking from the banner headline that says convention, Lamido Turaki Makarafi lead PDP chairman race. Amid the growing tension over the forthcoming national convention slated for November in Ibadan, Oyo State, the northern leaders of the People's Democratic Party have resolved to zone the national chairmanship position to the northwest in a move aimed at unifying the party ahead of the crucial exercise. A newsman gathered that PDP leaders who were also involved in the transition process that during the Northern Stakeholders meeting held in Abuja last weekend, it was agreed that the Northwest Zone should produce the party's national chairman, while 3 Northern Zone would this week decide on the consensus candidate for all key positions. Party insiders disclosed that the Northwest Zone was expected to choose among former Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido, former Minister of Special Duties Tanimu Turaki, and former Kaduna State Governor Ahmed Makafi, with Turaki reportedly enjoying an early majority support in the contest. A top party official with direct knowledge of the issue told the newsman that Turaki was likely to emerge as the next PDP national chairman, adding that he enjoyed the backing of key stakeholders, including the few governors now left in the party. He stated that the noise and tension in the party ahead of the convention are expected because it is a democratic setting where members' interests naturally differ. With an elective convention coming up in November in Ibadan, such disagreements are not unusual. However, despite these tensions, the party is making progress. Stakeholders are meeting and discussions are ongoing about zoning and sharing of positions. Over the weekend, Northern leaders including governors, former governors, 7 senators, and former principal officers of the National Assembly met in Abuja to deliberate on the region's position, particularly concerning the office of the national chairman, which is the most senior position in the party. The news is well detailed on the Punch newspaper this morning. You want to read more on it. It is about the convention and it says Lamido, Turaki and McCarthy lead PDP chairman race. Now, still on the Punch newspaper, Amokpito resumes next week ahead of Anambra poll. The new chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Joash Amokpito, is expected to officially assume office next week ahead of the November 8 Anambra governorship election. Multiple officials at INEC informed newsmen that Amokpito would formally take over the reins of commission after his swearing in by President Bola Tinubu, a ceremony traditionally conducted at the Federal Executive Council meeting expected to be held next week. Amokpito will assume office on the day he is sworn by the president. The tradition is that he gets sworn in before the Federal Executive Council meeting and he will be escorted by INEC national commissioners to resume office immediately. A senior official involved in the transition process said. An INEC director confirmed that while the exact date remains uncertain, the swearing in is inconsequential. He will assume his position after his inauguration, the official said. Activity within the commission also suggested that preparations were underway for Amokpito's arrival. An insider also revealed that he heard some of his personal staff has been showing up at the commission hoping he will be sworn in during the FEC meeting. Another insider also said he learned that he might likely assume office next week, but when contacted by our correspondent, the Director of Voter Education and Publicity, Victoria Etamesi, said, "We are expecting him, but there is no information on that he would officially resume office." And the Dawn confirmation followed a rigorous screening process during which he responded to a range of questions posed by lawmakers. The news is also on the Punch newspaper this morning. It says Amokpito resumes next week ahead of Anambra polls. Now, still on the Punch newspaper, FAN targets full ISO certification for Nigerian airport by December. The Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria has December 2025 to achieve full international organization, and this was contained in the Tuesday statement by the authority's Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection, Henry Adebire, in Lagos. The managing director of FAN, Mrs. Olubumi Kuku, has made this known at the unveiling of the ISO policy aimed at the culture of service quality, operational safety, and sustainable practice across all FAN-managed airports. Kuku was represented by the FAN Director of Human Resources and Administration, Dr. Lukman Emiola. The new policy, she said, integrates two standard ISO 9001-2015 quality management system and ISO 14001-2015 environmental management system EMS into a single framework. FAN has achieved about 70% completion of the certification process, with external auditors scheduled to arrive in November to assess compliance and close identified gaps. We are targeting full ISO certification by December 2025. The ISO policy reinforces the operational principle that if it is not documented, it is considered not done. She noted that the policy provided FAN with a working document to guide internal audits across directorates. Kuku said that it would ensure that every action reflected its commitment to service quality, safety, environmental stewardship, and operational excellence. She reiterated that the authority's dedication to managing Nigeria's airports in line with international best practices, ensuring safe, secure, efficient, and environmentally responsible operations. The authority also reaffirmed its commitment to protecting the environment, supporting host communities, and providing a conducive workplace for staff. The news is also well detailed on the Punch newspaper, saying FAN targets full ISO certification for Nigerian airport by December. Now moving on to the Vanguard newspaper. Abuja protest, court remands Kanu's lawyer, brother and 10 others in prison. A day after the Free Nnamdi Kanu protest, an Abuja Chief Magistrate Court sitting in Kuje remanded Aloy Ejimako, a member of the legal team representing the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, in Kuje prison. Kanu, who is still answering to a 7-count terrorism charge, has been in custody of the Department of State Services since 2021. Ejimako was remanded alongside Kanu's younger brother, Emmanuel, and 10 others arrested while protesting for the unconditional release of the embattled IPOB leader. Police, in the first information report it filed before the court, alleged that the defendant held the Free Nnamdi Kanu protest in disobedience to a court order and chanted war songs while disrupting the free flow of traffic. According to the police, they engaged in a criminal conspiracy, incited disturbance, and disturbed public peace offences punishable under Section 152, 114, and 113 of the Penal Code. The charge against the defendant read that on the 20th day of October 2025, Barrister Aloy Ejimako, Prince Emmanuel Kanu, Joshua Emmanuel, Wilson and Okereke Kingdom Namdi, Clinton Chimeze, Gabriel Joshua, Isiaka Useni were involved in inciting disturbance, breach of public peace and disobedience to court order, denying other citizens the freedom of movement, disrupting free flow of traffic while chanting war songs, and requesting for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, who is undergoing lawful trial at the Federal High Court in a manner that threatens national security. They hereby committed to the above mentioned offences, and while the newsmen learned that though the defendants were taken to court from the police detention facility, they were docked and they could not take their own plea owing to the absence of legal representation for them. And it was also gathered that while one of the defendants, Okereke Namdi, who is also a legal practitioner, elected to defend himself, Kanu's counsel Ejimako pleaded for a stand down to enable their legal team arrive. Ejimako's plea was rejected by the court, which adjourned the case till Friday. And the news is also well detailed on the Vanguard newspaper this morning, saying Abuja protest, court remand Kanu's lawyer, brother and 10 others in prison. Still on the Vanguard newspaper, PDP convention dispute, court fixes October 31st for judgment. The Federal High Court in Abuja on Tuesday fixed October 31st for judgment in a suit seeking to stop the planned convention of the People's Democratic Party (PDP). Justice James Omotosho fixed the date after counsel for the plaintiffs and the defense lawyers adopted their processes and presented their argument for and against the case. The News Agency of Nigeria reports that the plaintiffs, Austin Nwachukwu, Imo PDP chairman, Ama Nana, Abia PDP chairman, and Tura George, PDP secretary South, has filed the suit. They had sued the Independent National Electoral Commission, the PDP, Samuel Anyanwu, the National Secretary of the party, and the National Organizing Secretary of the party, or as first to sixth defendant. Others joining the suit are Umar Damagum, the PDP national chairman, and Emmanuel Ogidi as seventh and eighth defendants respectively. The plaintiff has instituted the suit to stop the planned national convention of the PDP on November 15th and 16th, scheduled for Ibadan, Oyo State, where its new national officer is expected to be elected. At the Tuesday proceedings, Justice Omotosho reaffirmed that his order on maintaining the status quo in respect of the convention must not be flouted by any of the party involved in the suit. Joseph Daudu, who represented the plaintiffs, urged the court not to treat the complaint of the plaintiffs as internal affairs of the party but as a step to enforce adherence to the 1999 Constitution, Electoral Act 2022 and the PDP Constitution. The senior lawyer also argued that Nigeria's constitution makes it mandatory for INEC to monitor congresses of political parties before they can be valid. He also added that the complaint of the three aggrieved members when that no valid congress was conducted in the 14th state before the PDP, NWC and NEC issued notice for the November 16 and 17 convention. However, the national chairman of the party, represented by Paul Erokoro San, asked the judge to decline jurisdiction on the ground that issues of convention and congresses are internal affairs of the party. The news is also well detailed on the Vanguard newspaper. Says PDP convention dispute, court fixes October 31st for judgment. I'm still on the Vanguard newspaper and moving to the health sector. NCDC reports 172 Lassa fever deaths. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, says 172 deaths have been recorded from Lassa fever in 21 states. The NCDC said this represents a case fatality rate CFR of the 18.6%, higher than the 17% recorded during the same period in 2024. In its Lassa fever situation report for week 40, September 29 to October 5th, the agency said 924 confirmed cases and 8,041 suspected cases has been reported from 106 local government areas. It said in Ondo, Bauchi, Edo, Taraba and Ebonyi accounted for 90% of all confirmed cases, with Ondo alone responsible for 35%. The center said that the report indicated that confirmed cases rose from 4 weeks in week 39 to 13 in 40, and all recorded in Ondo State. The NCDC noted that the predominant age affected was 21 to 30 years, with a male to female ratio of 1.8%. and added that there no new healthcare workers infection were reported during the week under the review. It attributed that the high fatality rate to the late presentation of cases and poor health-seeking behavior among residents of the high-burden communities. It also listed poor environmental sanitation and low awareness as factors that drives these infections. To strengthen response effort, the NCDC said it has deployed 10 national rapid response teams to affected states using One Health approach. It also added that the ongoing activities include training of healthcare workers, risk communication campaigns, and distribution of response commodity and thermometers to treatment centers. According to it, other interventions including the ongoing integrated clinical trial in Ondo State, capacity building workshops for clinicals, and environmental health campaigns in high-burden state. The NCDC urged states to strengthen community engagement on prevention and improve early case of detection and referral. Lastly, it called on the healthcare workers to maintain the high index of suspicion of Lassa fever and initiate timely retreatment to reduce these deaths. The news is also on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Says NCDC reports 172 Lassa fever deaths. So we'll go on a short break now, and then when we come back, we'll continue the news in full. This is still the Dailies on Radio Afiju. We'll be right back.
maka akụkọ okwu gbasara ndọrọndọrọ ọchịchị egwu ma ọ bụ ihe na-eme na Naịjirịa ma ọ bụ ihe na-eme na mba ofesi omenani mgbasa ozi ihe ndị a niile dị na redio Afinju n'eziokwu redio Afinju bụ nke izizi na radio stations na Osun State. Radio Afinju bụ amaala n'ịgbasa ozi.
Life no get duplicate.
Na so èmi ò láàárọ̀ o.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
Tẹ́ jẹ́jẹ́ o.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o. Make you take am easy.
Na so.
Radio Afinju says if you drink, don't drive. If you drive, don't drink.
Tẹ́ jẹ́jẹ́ o.
Make you take am easy.
Na so.
This awareness is brought to you by Radio Afinju.
For the best music,
show me capital business, show me character dickiness, show.
Season sport presentation.
Round 10 begins. If they complete this round,
balanced and objective news reportage, and all-round entertainment. Listen to the jewel of the pack of radios in this class.
Tune in
to Radio Afinju right here in Osogbo, Osun State.
Na my hustle be this. Na here I dey see my daily urgent 2k o. Ìhà yín ni mo ti ń rí ẹgbẹ̀rún méjì náírà pàjáwìrì tèmi lójoojúmọ́. On this program, we will bring people from different business backgrounds to come tell their stories and share insights with us. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin oníṣẹ́ ọwọ́, oníṣòwò, ẹ gbáradì. Ètò ti kàn yín ní rédíò Àfínjú. Bó o lẹ ti bẹ̀rẹ̀? Kí ni àwọn tójú yín rí? Kí lẹ̀ ń tà gangan? Bó o lẹ sì ti ń tà? My hustle will give you a direct insight into the business world. Join Aderonke Lawal, Ayoka Ọmọ Àkànmú on my hustle every Wednesday 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Radio Afinju to have your minds blown. Ẹ lè tẹ̀lé wa lórí gbogbo ìkànnì abánidọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ wa pátápátá ní Radio Afinju. My hustle, my urgent 2k.
ìpèníjà pọ̀ láwùjọ aráàlú ń pàráàrò wọ́n ń fojú sọ́nà fún ìdàgbàsókè bẹ́ẹ̀ olóṣèlú náà ń pé adìyẹ ń làágùn ìyẹ́ ni ò jẹ́ àárì ó wá di dandan ká mójú ajé kò ní sọ ká ṣàkójọ àwọn ìpèníjà tí ń bẹ láwùjọ ká tẹ́ pẹpẹ rẹ̀ fáwọn adarí ìjọba kí wọ́n sì sọ ìgbésẹ̀ tí wọ́n ń gbé láti wá ojútùú sí wọn èyí ló bí ètò gbàgede ọ̀rọ̀ lórí rédíò Àfínjú gbàgede ọ̀rọ̀ ni ó máa ṣe ìfọ̀rọ̀wérọ̀ láàrin ará ìlú àtàwọn adarí ìjọba lórí ètò yìí a ó máa ṣàtúpalẹ̀ àwọn ìpèníjà àwùjọ bẹ́ẹ̀ láàsì mọ fọ̀rọ̀wérọ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn ìkàn ìjọba tọ́rọ̀ kàn láti lè mú ìtẹ̀síwájú báwùjọ wa Adédayọ̀ Dẹ́rínú ọmọ wọn lẹ́sẹ̀ kòjọ́mọ ó nù ni ó máa tọ́kùn ètò ẹ lè wo rédíò Àfínjú lórí àwọn àtẹ ayélujára Facebook àti YouTube bẹ́ẹ̀ lẹ́sì lè gbọ́ wa lórí rédíò Garden rédíò Àfínjú ìlànà ìgbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́ tí ò lábàwọ́n gbàgede ọ̀rọ̀ ètò tó ń yànnàná ohun tó rújú láàrin ará ìlú àtijọba kò ṣeé má gbọ́ ni ẹ gbà bẹ́ẹ̀.
gbàgede ọ̀rọ̀.
for an ultimate entertainment experience. An all-round gist with your spicy honey drops. Don't miss the fun, excitement, and updates on Afinju Arena. Only on Radio Afinju.
Apology for waiting, say don't play, or you will learn.
For up-to-date tori wey no get filter.
Politics matter.
Sport.
Ya lo hace. Pierna derecha, directo al arco. ¡Golazo! ¡Golazo!
Culture. Naija and obodo oyibo music. Advertisement wey go reach your customer home and abroad.
This is incredible.
Na on top Radio Afinju you go hear am.
You can't be serious.
Na so. Radio Afinju be baba for all radio stations wey dey Osogbo, Osun State. Radio Afinju na better level for broadcasting.
Alrighty then. Nàìjíríà yìí ti gbogbo wa ni kò máa gbọ́dọ̀ bàjẹ́ torí kò sí ibòmíràn tí a lè lọ àjò lè dàbí ilé ẹ jẹ́ ká sowọ́pọ̀ ká fìmọ̀ ṣọ̀kan gbé kémi gbé.
Alright, you're welcome back, and this is still the Dailies on Radio Afinju, and I'm still on the Vanguard newspaper. The story here says, Court nullifies Ebonyi 2024 local government election and sack chairman and councillors. A federal high court sitting in Abakaliki, Ebonyi state capital, has nullified the election of 7 local government and councillorship elections conducted in 2024 in the state. The presiding judge, Justice Oshoma, held that the July 2024 local government councillorship elections in the state did not conform with the provisions of the Electoral Act. The court voided and cancelled the local government and councillorship elections and also asked the Ebonyi State Independent Electoral Commission and the state government, who are the second and third respondent, not to conduct further local government and councillorship elections in the state except in line with the provision of the Constitution. The court granted most of the relief sought by the council, and the first plaintiff, Ogbodo, and the second plaintiff granted consequential orders on the matter. Hamilton Ogbodo, counsel to the first plaintiff, held the judgment, and so in effect, the local government election was conducted in July 24 in Ebonyi State is no more, and it has been cancelled by the Federal High Court. And then we also expect them to obey the court order. The local government chairmen have been sacked by the order of the court, and the court has done exactly what the law says it should do, because these things are in black and white. It is when you don't want to obey the law, you know, and you read it the way you want it so it can serve your goals. On this part, the counsel, who is the second plaintiff in the matter, said the Federal High Court sitting in Abakaliki, presided by late Justice Fatun Rima, has nullified the 2022 local government and councillorship elections, which the state government did not obey but went ahead and sworn in people as elected council chairmen and councillors across the 13 local governments and 171 wards in the state. The news is well detailed on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Says court nullifies Ebonyi 2024 local government election, sacks chairman and councillors. Still on the Vanguard newspaper, and moving down, coming to Osun State, 1 missing and 2 injured as robbers attack Osun Varsity hostels. Two students of the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Osun State, were injured in a robbery attack on some student hostels located outside the university campus. This was just as one student was said to have gone missing in mysterious circumstances about 2 months ago. Newsmen also learned that the robbers were armed with cutlass and a gun invaded the area at about 11 p.m. on Monday. The robbers were said to have broken windows and carted away with some of the students' belongings, including mobile phones, laptops, and money, amongst others. Videos of the attacks cited by a correspondent showed a room floor with blood stains, while another image showed a damaged burglar-proof window. Speaking with our correspondent in a telephone conversation on Tuesday, a student who identified himself as Daniel noted that 2 hostels were attacked by robbers on Monday night, and he noted that during the robberies, 2 students sustained injuries after one was attacked with a cutlass. According to Daniel, the armed persons came to the hostels at about 10:49 p.m. on Monday and robbed some students. One of the students who did not want to release his phone was attacked with a cutlass. They carted away phones and MacBook laptops. They left and attacked another hostel, robbed the students and collected their belongings. After a while, we mobilized ourselves and gave them a chase, but when they saw us, they shot in the air, which caused us to disperse. This is not the first time they have attacked the student hostels. It was the students' union government that came around to rescue the injured student to the health care center. He noted that the patrol police team came around after the incident to monitor the area. In a statement released on Tuesday, the OAU Student Union government lamented the spate of attacks, stressing that one student had gone missing at about 2 months ago. And the statement, jointly signed by the union president, David Adelani, public relations officer Oreoluwa Olowoshile, the secretary general Habib Isa, noted that the student escaped the kidnapping attempt while another had gone missing for some months. The union wrote, Dorcas Osegale, a student of our university, has been missing for over 2 months with no significant progress reported in her case. And this was unresolved disappearance at heightened fears among the student body and underscores of the vulnerability of off-campus residents. On Sunday night, another student was kidnapped while in the vicinity of the student-populated areas. Fortunately, the victim managed to escape during an attempt to transfer him into another vehicle and fled to safety. The news is also on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. It says 1 missing and 2 injured as robbers attack Osun Varsity hostels. And lastly, on the Vanguard newspaper this morning, 3 Jigawa drug lord arrested and 23,000 illicit drugs seized. The Jigawa State Police Command said it has arrested 3 notorious drug leaders and confiscated more than 23,000 illicit drugs across parts of the state. Confirming the development in Dutse, the Jigawa state capital, the command's public relations officer, Shehu Adam, said the arrests were made during joint intelligence-led raid conducted by police from Garki, Fagam, and Megatari divisions on October 18, 2025. The suspect, identified as Mohammed Gaba from Mekia village, Kano State, Musa Gaba and Hudu Maliu from Guneri village, had been under police surveillance for their involvement in drug trafficking within Jigawa and neighboring states. During the operations, officers recovered a staggering total of 23,944 assorted illicit drugs from the suspect. According to the Jigawa police spokesperson, the seized substances included 13,505 units of Exol, 1,583 units of DS5, 3,572 tramadol tablets, 665 diazepam capsules, and 2,469 bottles of rubber solution. In addition, cannabis was confiscated both in black form and 886 wraps alongside other hard drugs such as sock and dye, and 340 units of farin malam. Adam highlighted that this large quantity of drugs poses a significant threat to the youth and communities in the state. The suspects are currently in the police custody undergoing thorough investigation and will be charged to court after preliminary inquiries, he stated. The police command also expressed its unwavering determination to eradicate drug trafficking and abuse from Jigawa State. The PPRO appealed to the public to continue supporting law enforcement by providing credible information that aids in catching criminals. However, he quoted the State Commissioner of Police, Dairu Muhammad, as praising the officers involved for their courage and dedication during the operations. He reiterated that the police command's zero-tolerance policy on drug-related crimes and urged citizens to promptly report any suspicious activities. And the news is also well detailed on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Says 3 Jigawa drug lords arrested and 23,000 illicit drugs seized. Now moving on to the Nation newspaper, I'm picking the first story here that says, Hoodlums raise Ekiti ADC secretariat and disrupt ESCO's inauguration. There was tension in Ado-Ekiti, the Ekiti state capital, on Tuesday after some suspected thugs set ablaze the secretariat of the African Democratic Congress ADC. The attack in the early hours of the day razed the secretariat at Bashiri area of Ado-Ekiti and destroyed several valuables, including plastic chairs, canopies, sound system, and office equipment. It was gathered that the burnt canopies and chairs had been rented for the inauguration of the party's executive across wards, local government areas, and state level, scheduled to hold later in the day. Several hours after the secretariat was razed, the hoodlums regrouped in large numbers and stormed the venue of the planned affirmation ceremony, disrupting preparations and attacking party leaders and supporters. The attackers, who stormed the venue in a commando-like style, shot sporadically into the air, forcing several members of the ADC, journalists, as well as passersby to scamper for safety. In an ensuing chaos, several vehicles and motorcycles belonging to one of the journalists were extremely vandalized, while canopies and chairs arranged for the programs were destroyed beyond repair. 15 minutes after the hoodlums fled the scene, the ADC National Secretary Rauf Aregbesola arrived at the venue amid tight security and proceeded with the inauguration of the newly affirmed executives. Speaking with journalists shortly after the brief inauguration of the party executives, the ex-minister condemned the attack in strong terms, describing it as a shameful display of intolerance and a dangerous threat to democracy. Aregbesola said it was regrettable that individuals who emerged through democratic process could resort to violence and intimidation to suppress opposition voices. The news is well detailed on the Nation newspaper this morning. Said hoodlums raise Ekiti ADC secretariat and disrupt ESCO's inauguration. Thank you very much, and that will bring us to the end of the dailies this morning. Make sure you stay glued to Radio Afiju because Dokon Radio will be coming immediately after the dailies right now. My name remains Tolulope Awoyale, and do not forget to follow Radio Afiju on our social media platforms at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X, all at Radio Afiju. You can also listen to us on our website at www.afijufm.com. Enjoy the rest of your day and have a wonderful